Now it is time to talk about the characters. And yeah, you notice that I'm putting a little bit on halt the plot because I think it is the best way to talk about the biggest problems that this movie has. Let's talk about June. She's not exactly a bad character, I'll say. It's technically just a kid with a vivid imagination. But she got depressed because her mother went into rehab and all this stuff. And the way she kind of gets depressed and grows sad about it. In one way, it's kind of understandable because a child like that will be so distraught that the mother is kind of dying or something like that. Which, to the movie's credit, is that is technically a good thing because not usually in animated films they just kind of go with, oh yeah, the kid lost the mother or the father, they lose the parents and they have to deal in the aftermath of that loss. But not all the time we get a movie that they have to go through that process of loss. I mean, seeing someone suffering illness or something like that. I know that there's a movie, what was it called? The Monster Calls, I think it was called. And I never saw this movie, but I heard about that. It's about this kid who has to deal with a mother dealing with cancer. If only more animated movies like Disney or Nickelodeon could see that and take some issue into it, I'll say. I'm not gonna push them saying that they're just doing for the entertainment industry because they just want to delight their children. But let's get real in one thing. What does entertaining mean? Usually people think that entertainment is trying to escape from the horrible reality that we exist. It just makes us escape reality or something like that. Yes, but I think I have a feeling that when it's about art, sometimes it's inevitable that there's going to be some politics or a hidden message behind it because when you create something, you give out a piece of your own experience or emotion into it to try to relate to others. Okay, but anyway, I'm not gonna go into that. And June comes off kind of like a little bit of a Mary Sue kind of type of character. Not exactly a bad one, but nothing remarkable. The Matthew Broderick character is kind of just there. The mother is kind of like a plot device that she got sick and then could go into rehab. Again, my only concern is that they kind of treat this child kind of like a little bit spoiling her. I mean, not exactly like Caillou level, but kind of a little bit after that scene with where she elaborates that scene. Her best friend, that's kind of forgettable. I just kind of wish that he was there during the rest of the movie. I mean, it was kind of funny to see him crush to her, crushing on June. But I kind of beg and make me wonder what would have happened if you could have included him into the movie. But it's not a movie about him. It was more about June's deal with her depression of having her mother with a sickness and fearing that she will never come back. The animals also, they don't flesh out a little bit of a personality, I would say. I mean, you see the bear, he's very sleepy. You see the porcupine, he's very safety-savvy. The beavers, they fight each other and sometimes they work each other. I'm not gonna lie that the boar, Greta was the name, the one that Lina Kunis played. I'm not gonna lie that she was probably the only character that, for some reason, I like. There was some charisma into that character. Oh, by the way, is it me or she kind of looks like a female Pumbaa? Okay, I digress. I digress. And well, the monkey, I'll get into it. But here's the thing that kind of makes me raise my eyebrows, is that some of the character traits, sometimes they kind of shoehorn in some kind of character arc that comes a little bit out of nowhere. I mean, there was no character, not much of a character arc for the bear. He was technically comic relief. The beaver, they didn't. They ask about why they keep fighting, but they never build a character arc in which they stop fighting and something like that. And out of the blue, the porcupine expressed himself that he's in love with the boar, the Greta. There's just one scene in which he says, "Hey, I kind of like June. I kind of like her." Oh, really? Oh, really? That's it. Just in case. I don't care for interspecies relationship, but it's just there. You just let us know, and then almost during the climax of the film, it kind of let us not forget that. Oh yeah, that thing is there. Does it collaborate into the movie? Does it make a character arc inside the movie? I think it is time to continuing on with the plot. So they try to reconstruct the clockworks that makes the ride function in order to get rid of the darkness, and while at the same time avoiding for what you call creepy zombie monkeys, the stuffed monkeys that again they really look like monkeys from Super Monkey Ball, I think. We get to this. We technically get to the scene in which June gets separated from the party after battling those monkeys, and she gets into some hidden place during the park, and finally she finds Peanuts the monkey. And Peanuts is acting kind of similar to June when she obsessing about things being safe. He feels down because he can't come up with ideas because he thinks that he heard the whisper of some woman because, well, let's say that most of the ideas were whispered by June's mother and all this stuff, and so the magic pen doesn't work. And to make things short, she disappears. They get separated again, and June kind of tells the others that, well, I think the darkness is kind of my fault. What? Yeah, you see, the monkey just told me that he kind of stopped hearing the whispers. He didn't get any ideas, and then this darkness came along, and I kind of realized that when I stopped on the Wonderland project, my sadness kind of bring out this darkness, and everything's gone by the shitter. And the reaction of the animals were like, so it is your fault, isn't it? So what can I do with you, girl? What can I do with you? So they leave her. This is another wasted potential, saying that trying to teach others that when you get sad or you get into really deep depression, you're gonna affect others. It didn't go that far, but in a little bit of a small words of wisdom, every emotion can be both effective but also dangerously effective. At this point, you kind of notice that it wanted to feel a little bit like Inside Out, the Pixar film, in which in Inside Out, Pixar, it kind of shows that when you rely in one emotion, like feeling a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, sometimes it can be too chaotic, and and it's gonna affect others. But also you need a little bit of sadness to show your genuine emotions, to convey that we need to balance it out our emotions. But this one, it tries to make kind of like the opposite thing, that when you are when you become too sad, it's gonna affect everything. But it didn't felt earned, and that confused a lot out of me. So continuing on, what happens? What's June's solution? She just rigged a robot, one of the park attractions, in order to reconstruct the park with her own bare robot hands. Because man, that this girl, I don't know what age she was. She apparently knows robotics, and she's kind of too smart. And then the animals forgive her, and they decided to test run this roller coaster. A roller coaster that they kind of barely finish it. They tested out on the bear, which begs my question: if this movie wanted to talk about that you have to be secure with the ride, couldn't they just use at least a test dummy? No, let's use the bear to test it out. And guess what? This sequence lasts, I think, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes just to make your children happy. And make them prepare for the climax. Where the monkeys, with their things, they just go into the darkness vortex that, now that I think of it, it looks like I think that's probably the Galactus version of that shitty Fantastic Four for Rise of the Silver Surfer movie. They got the monkey there, and then June jumps into it in order to tell her that, you know those voices? It was my mom. It was my mom. I mean, it doesn't need... It's not exactly my mom, the Wonder of Wonderland. I mean, the Wonder of Wonderland is on you. I don't know, something like that. I'm getting sick of trying to force myself some Kingdom Hearts jokes. So, what's the solution of the darkness? Well, not exactly a solution. They just escape. They have to escape from the darkness. Because, first of all, she tells the monkey, "Dandy straws. We can make a ride with dandy straws." Okay, with the magic pen, let's make a tunnel full of dandy straws. I swear to freak that this magic golden pen is technically a big giant magic wand. And then we get this really chaotic action scene, because they say that in order to rebuild Wonderland, they have to activate the clockwork, and the way to make the clockwork is that with the bendy straws, they must write the name June into this cable clockworky thing in that place. So they do that. I get thoroughly confused of the freak what's going on. Characters begin to talk with each other. We get finally the John Oliver porcupine talking to, confessing his love to Greta the pig. Out of nowhere, without a character arc, whatever. They just wanted to rush things out, and then everything goes back to the way it was. Here's another nitpick, that it happened in the beginning of the movie, and then the end of at the end of this climax, when everything is done, everything instead of being gloomy colored, everything become bright and colored, kind of like back to normal. But you know what? The biggest mystery that happens, that when that happens, the people appeared out of nowhere. I mean, they magically just appear. What the hell are those people? Where did these people come from? emphasized in this film. And there's some things that I still haven't even talked that because, man, that this movie is making me a little bit scattered. There were moments like, for example, I kind of questioned the things that I have. Not just about the people, because I forgot to even mention that June exactly can't escape Wonder Park because when she goes into the exit, she just returned to the safe point. I don't know why. It doesn't establish why her. Maybe there's something on the magical blueprint that apparently comes to life and tries to rub it into her that she is the only hope. Which kind of begs the question, what is that magical blueprint that is sentient all of a sudden? And also, I also forgot to mention that there were, apart from the lame jokes, there was a moment in which some of the porcupine scenes are kind of questionable. For example, they always have this habit of making the porcupine shoot his needles, his quills, like freaking arrows. Here's a natural science class for you children. Porcupines, I know that their needles are loose, but they don't shoot like freaking arrows like that. And also you know what? This movie also makes it very bloodless because there's a scene in which the bear handily smacks the porcupine's needles, and I was like, ah. They smart, guys. Porcupine needles are not. It's not pleasant. If you wanted to make it less painful, at least you should have designed the porcupine like Sonic. Okay, Sonic is a hedgehog, but porcupine, hedgehog, whatever. Alright, let's continue with the freaking climax of the film, in which the climax, there's kind of there is one moment in which the character began to say, "Hey, good job. I'm glad that the monkey's back because you know, Peanuts, you are the glue of this park." But then the monkey's like, "No, the real glue of this park is Greta." Did we miss something? To be fair, the character of Greta, the boar, the pig, is kind of like she is indeed the most level-headed of all the characters. She was. And she did prove that she did have some good leadership qualities. This is probably why I think that she was probably my favorite character of this movie. But to have a line like that, it didn't felt earned. We didn't have kind of like a story arc with her. This movie should have constructed an arc with her. Like, for example, she's kind of doubting her leadership, or that she actually is the one that helps June to get over her sadness. That way, she could have earned those words, but it doesn't. She's just there being just like the level-headed character. That's it. There, I fixed your movie in a couple of sentences. Why couldn't you do that? Oh, wait, because you didn't have a director. Oh, and the movie tries to wrap up, and one of the things that didn't kind of wrap up is that there is this aurora borealis in the sky, and June is like, oh, these are remains of the darkness to make kind of like a reminder. Nice going. It's like it's like having the head of a dictator in the middle of Busch Gardens. Let's wrap it up. June decides to finally get out of the park. The park disappears after a goodbye. It kind of implies that probably all this thing is partially her imagination running wild. it always goes to that route in these kind of movies. And, and let me tell you, instead of going back to math camp, because she might have worried so many teachers, she goes back home to her father, and the father's like, hey, I thought you were at math camp. I left her 30 minutes ago. Yeah, I know, Dad, but I'm gonna reconstruct Wonder Park. Oh, okay. If he was a more competent father, he was like, where had you been? You went there for yourself into the forest? I mean, I left you there. You came back here. You maybe even spent a lot of money. Okay, I'm sounding like a mean-spirited father, but the first thing that fathers had when the child kind of goes into that, it has questions. It has questions. At least let him. And she doesn't explain exactly what happened. I mean, she doesn't even confess that let's say that I just got away because I couldn't handle it and I had a lot to think about. Oh, I understand. Okay, it was very dangerous what you did, but let's talk about it. They didn't have a little bit of a mature emotion into it. And I think, again, the problem is that they focus too much on being a family-friendly kid film in order to make them entertain the children. It's just to keep them quiet. And I'm really against movies that they think that in order to make animation, it's just for the entertainment of children. And when you make children entertainment, you don't put just effort, and your biggest focus is just have an entertainment, and the mature things it's kind of like a spice out of it. But let me tell you out of it, when you're making food, the spices are everything. You can't. Here's an experiment that I want you to do. Try to cook a piece of meat without any spices, and then cook another piece of meat with the spices, and see the difference. See the difference. I know that it feels irrelevant, but making a story in animation is kind of like that. You have to put the correct spices in order to make a good product. I'll leave it like that, yeah, for food for thoughts. But here's what happened. We get kind of like this closing scene in which the children, they apparently the Hindi guy, he just comes back and he's there, and there's that one final surprise for June. And you know what's that final surprise? The mom comes back. No, she didn't die. And she looks healthy, or probably she looks even more healthier than the last time we saw her. And that makes me think, oh, what a miracle! Wonderland, or Wonder Park, whatever you want to call it. It's a miracle! Wonderland! It cures cancer! Well, they never say it is cancer, and besides, I know what a cancer patient looks like. Even a cancer patient that came out of rehab might look like. No, it doesn't. And the movie ends with this June constructing Wonderland in her garage with many children, and she talks with a stuffed monkey, which also is Peanut constructing Wonder Park. Everything happy dandy, and then the movie credits ends, and that's where I see this lame ass credits that they recycle some animations here and there. And not gonna lie, it is thanks to my riffing that I technically, ironically enjoy this film. This is the best way I can think that how you can enjoy Wonder Park. If you watch it ironically, you just go grab a couple of beers and make fun of it. This is a movie that is easily riffable. It's bad for your children, I understand that. If you say that, I understand. It is really bad constructed. I can see that there was some potential and they had some good things, but again, the director was fired and apparently it's a ship without a sail. It is a total anarchic movie that it felt directionless. In a movie that it feels that it was for children, it doesn't feel like it was made by a child. And I wish that this was made by a child, not by some 30, 40-year-old man with a mind of a child. Okay, Hollywood, here's a challenge. Grab an 8-year-old child and make him work on the movie industry. Make him the director. And well, let's compare. Let's compare. You know what? Here's the plan. Pick a movie. Pick a movie. One movie, and this movie, let's have 2 versions. One movie should be directed by an 8-year-old child, and another movie, make it directed by James Cameron. And let's make them work hard and see the difference. In this case, something similar to Wonder Park. Or Wonderland, whatever you want to call it. Well, that's been a long session, I gotta admit. Wonderland. Really? Very, very directionless, anarchic, chaotic film that was lost in development. That they just decided to pick up a movie and they just think that, oh, let's entertain those children and let's see what it got. And unfortunately, this is both sad and so pathetically hecklerishy film. So I don't recommend it to go to the movie theater to watch this film. Don't give them your money out of it. It's probably more a rental, I'll say. It's a rental where you can grab a couple of beers and make fun of it. That's it. That's all. That's all I have to say about Wonder Park. It's not a wonderful film. Not a wonderful film. It's just that. So let's close this up. I forgot to mention one bit of bad news for anyone who hates Wonder Park. Myself included. A little bit. Television series. Really? I mean... Really?
Monkey!